if you get back a little farther, I can help pull. Yeah, come on.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Wild Westy.
And I'm Cement. You're watching Steink TV. Let's go riding.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Steink TV. As always, this is Tim Steiner. What we're working on today is this 2002 RM250, which I do believe Cameron Namella's RM250 that unfortunately he didn't get to complete before his passing was also 2002. So I'm going to dedicate this to him. And yeah, in this video I'm going to be going over everything that's wrong with it. I traded a good running 2008 CRF 250 for this, and the kid is an absolute dirtbag. He ended up screwing me over on this bike pretty bad. So let's get into what's wrong with this bike. If you guys like this content, hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers this year. Got some nice mics, new cameras, brand new Insta360 camera that I'm going to put on to extension. Check out my video on that now. You'll see it looks like a video game. And I also am mounting a GoPro to my frame to get some cool different angles for you guys. So just stay tuned for all that. I have a lot of things in store for the YouTube. And yeah, so just getting into this right off the bat. I got the bike. It didn't run. You could kick it over. I pulled the pipe off while I was there. Looked at the piston. Of course, it looked fine. And, you know, just wouldn't start. It just, you could feel when you kicked it. It's really hard to explain. It just didn't feel quite right. It wasn't grinding, wasn't dragging. It just, when you went to do a full kick, it would kind of not want to hit the foot peg. It would stop a little short. So I was like, okay, probably like on a CR, there are little lines you have to line up for the kick shaft where the two sprockets and how it throws out are in there. Well, the RM, from my understanding, doesn't have that. Well, that was my first thought. That wasn't it. So I pulled it apart and was like, oh, well, this is obviously wrong. This bolt's ground down. Look at this. There's supposed to be a beveled spring washer in here. I already ordered that and a new bolt. I'm getting this thing all fixed up. But that's not right. This seal's in the correct way. It does look, a lot of times the crank seals go the other way. But if you look in the RM manual, this is the way that this right crank seal should be. But he does have the other one in the wrong way. Although it doesn't matter because the crank bearings are bad. The main connecting rod is bad. I was like, oh, cool. At least it came with a new piston. Like, that's cool. No, whoever ordered this, this is for a 2003 and up. 2000 to 2002, it's a flat top piston. So this is actually a little bit taller. You can see the piston that was in it before did blow up, not this one. And it contacted the head, most likely because not from wrong squish clearance, but because of worn out crank bearings and the connecting rod. It was able to give it a little bit of extra lift. And, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but that little bit, you know, there's only 1 millimeter or whatever it is of clearance there. I think it's 1 millimeter to 1.2 millimeters of squish clearance. So, you know, a bearing goes bad and you get a little bit of play and, you know, you don't have much room to play in. And there you go. That's the result of it. So luckily this should be able to be saved. The cylinder is all good. I checked out that whole thing. I'll show you guys here. Really no damage. It's maybe could be honed a little bit, which I might end up getting it honed when I get the crank pressed, just to make sure everything is fresh, good to go. I am going to be selling this bike once I rebuild it, but I'm doing everything correct. Crank up, I'll film everything. So if you guys are interested in buying this when I'm done, just stay tuned and let me know if you have any tips and tricks that I don't go over. But yeah, starting off here, this pipe mount, completely broken, not even the right thing. I have all the parts for that, and it's not a big deal at all. The rear brake clevis, it was pretty worn out. You can see the wrong washers they used on the foot pegs. I ordered all the right stuff for that. I got new foot pegs. These are pretty worn in stock, of course. And I was like, okay, well, you can see, hopefully the video shows it. Somehow, when this bike was all apart, this clutch basket got bent. So I just ordered a new used clutch basket. Also, this inner hub, when someone was using a tool to hold it, instead of going between these big, more open square spots or rectangle, I guess, somebody went in between, and you can see here it is. This one, hopefully you guys can see this. It's cracked. It's cracked all the way down. I just didn't really want to use this, so I ordered a whole new assembly used. Gonna change that out. Plus one of these screw holes. When I pulled it all apart, the screw's at an angle, and I ordered all brand new screws for it, or bolts, I guess. And yeah, I mean, that's as far as I've gotten on pulling the motor apart, but the crank bearings are bad. The crank connecting rod is bad. I had to order a new piston. Shout out to Wasner, they really hooked me up. I got a piston and connecting rod. Of course, I pay for them. It's not like they gift them to me or anything like that, but they're always super nice. I love dealing with Wasner. To continue here, rear shock seals leaking. The suspension was sent out to KB5 at one point, so I got a new seal head, gonna be servicing this. Shock, I think it's set up for 170. That's what that spring rate was when I looked it up. I might be able to call them, however, there's no name left on this, so they really might not know, because they usually don't have bike VINs when they do it. They just have, you know, customer names and whatever, so gonna hopefully get in contact with them to figure out what it's set for if it's ever revalid, but if not, no big deal. I believe this is 08 plus front end till 2016, I think is when they changed again. Correct me in the comments, I'm not a Suzuki guy, so I don't know all the changes, but yeah, nice powder coated hubs and rims, and brand new spokes. Somebody spent some time and money on this bike in the past. Ignore these zip ties. This was just me messing around, testing something, because these old brake lines used to come down in the front here, and someone changed it out to updated version where it's wrapping on the inside, and there's no holder on this style from 2000 to 2003, I believe. The holder was down here because it would wrap underneath, and in 04 plus the holder's up here. So I got fork guards that have a holder up there. I ordered a holder for it, excuse me, so we can get this all mounted right. And if I end up wanting to put this in front of the number plate, I got one of those Achirby cable holders that you mount your own, so I'll probably do it like here or something if I do go that route. I just got it in case I wanted it. These are rubber mounted bar mounts, so that's plus, because it is a 2002. Good grips, put it in the bar ends. Grips were pretty beat up, they took a lot of cleaning. Brand new levers, and the other one was pretty messed up, a little bent and just kind of looked cruddy. I rerouted some of the wiring because that was all messed up. There wasn't even a hose clamp on one of these, on this radiator hose right here. So he also had, if you guys are aware, the water pump usually has a little sealing washer. He had it on the back side of the shaft that comes off of here, which is this. He had the washer on this part, which is completely incorrect. So luckily this bike never ran. I mean, you can see this piston, it never started with this, thankfully. So it just sucks when someone screws you over. So just be careful who you deal with out there. That's the only thing I'll say. This was the plug that was in it. Brand new, never ran. Another piece of broken plastic here from the rear guide for the caliper. I got a new one of those. I got a metal one and a metal lower rotor guard. The chain slider is chain guide was pretty low, so I ended up just ordering another one. That's already in. I got new rollers on order because they are just, this one spins, but it's just a little stiff. The bottom one was okay, but I just ordered 2 of them. Linkage and swing arm all seem good, but I'm going to take those apart and grease them all up, change anything out that needs to be changed. He had just some mismatched bolts, the wrong kind, so anything that wasn't quite right, like you can, I don't know what I did with it. One of the bolts that came out of, oh, it's actually still in there. This motor mount bolt down here, you can see it's not the OEM one, so I ordered an OEM one. I got fork seals, so I'm just going to fully service the suspension so it's fresh for whoever ends up buying this. Rear fender, I'm going to put a graphic on. The new fork guards, I'll put graphics on. I got a brand new, I'll show you all the brand new parts here in a second. I'm going to take off all the rusty bolts and hardware, sandblast them, and potentially I might Cerakote them. I'm not quite sure if I'll Cerakote them or powder coat. Obviously with Phillips you can't powder coat very easily because you're going to fill in where a screwdriver goes. So probably do Cerakote on those. Another thing that was wrong, This flywheel, he stripped out the nut, and also the keyway they used was a homemade keyway. I couldn't believe this. I've never seen anything like that before. This keyway. Either it was a Harbor Freight keyway set and they just didn't want to get the right one, but this broke because it didn't extend far enough into the flywheel, and so the flywheel had no timing and it was just spinning free. This seal, like I said, is backwards behind there. He doesn't even have case bolts connecting the inner case here in these two. So of course I ordered that. I'm splitting everything. I got the chain guide, all that now. The frame is in pretty good condition, really. At least that I'm happy with that, and that the linkage bearings are all okay. Somebody did put money into this at one point, so I have good faith in this bike. It just needs a couple things. I also got the correct holder mount for the ECU. What else? Keeping the shifter, it's in good shape. Chain and sprockets were in great shape. It has an FMF SST pipe. If you guys know you can't get these anymore, these are meant for high RPM power gains. A lot of people like these in the woods as well. I do have a 2-stroke blowout kit, so stay tuned. In one of the videos will be me trying to get this pipe looking back to as good as it possibly can. He also had these screws were also stripped out on the original carburetor, so he bought a cheap Chinese knockoff. The bike would have never ran. I took it apart. You won't even believe me. The jets in there aren't labeled at all on size. So please, please guys, don't buy these Chinese carburetors. And if you do, at least buy the correct slides and jets and, you know, real OEM Mikuni or Kian jets and slides and all that stuff. And get rid of all that other junk. And I still would recommend just using a regular, normal OEM carburetor. It's not worth the little bit of money you save. It's gonna never run right. So here's the old original one. I ended up just taking it all apart. I vapor honed it, cleaned it all, made sure everything was right, changed out some jetting in there, give it a little bit more fuel. It seemed to be a little lean. Here's those fork guards. Some extra jetting, some extra spark plugs. At one point it did look like it was running pretty good, because one of these plugs, it's this one here, you know, it's a tan color. So new seat cover, new foot pegs, fork seals, some miscellaneous hardware down in there. Obviously all new gaskets, still waiting on a couple things, new clutch plates, ignition cover, outer clutch. Another thing that's messed up is these bolts up here are stripped out. I'm gonna have to get those out. I'm probably going to just Dremel a slot in it because I got this one from my CR125 back in the day. I did order a new front tire. This one's pretty shot. The rear tire, I can turn it. It's never been, I don't know, maybe it has been flipped. I'm probably just going to throw on, a rear tire as well. That tire is pretty shot. But spokes are all brand new, front and rear, looking real good. It came with an FMF. I'm not sure if it's a shorty Superjet 701 motor. It's actually a 788, the biggest bore you can go. This is epoxy filled cases. It's really not that hard. If you guys are interested in that, stay tuned. I'll have some videos on that. One other extremely crazy thing is when I got this bike home all still assembled, I tipped it over on its left side to pull off the clutch cover and the inner clutch cover. And I'm like, damn, there's a lot of oil coming out. I was like, oh, it's probably just coming out of the countershaft seal, right? So I got a seal and I pulled this off. This guy never even put a seal in there. It was just an open shaft. So luckily I never washed the bike when I got it. And this kid didn't get it running, so he never had a reason to wash it. Because the oil in there wasn't mixed with water or anything. It was clean oil. So very lucky there. It's just, I can't believe what this bike was put through. And on the kid's Facebook, you can see the whole motor was apart, and he just scabbed it back together and scammed me on this. But whatever, live and learn. A couple things else to mention. This chain adjuster, which I ordered new ones, of course, the head of the bolt was snapped off. So in order for me to get it out, it was seized in here a little bit. But I just used the nut, tapped on a socket because the nut was stripped. Tapped on a socket, used it, then where the head broke off, it was so burgered up, it just pulled it right out, no problem. But that axle block was so destroyed from there being no head on the bolt. You'll see right here, this was that chain adjuster block. You see how chewed up and dug in it is, hopefully. And the reason I got the Tusk set is because it was cheaper to get both the Tusk ones and even a single used one of these. And they never put this washer underneath here, so I had to order the washer, of course, and this is all chewed up. So I wanted to just make sure everything was nice. And it's good it went to a nice home so that I can really just sort everything out for this bike. The last and most crazy information is that this kid put regular motor oil in with his fuel and thought that was normal. Me and my girlfriend were like laughing at him, not being rude, but we're like, dude, like, you can't just put motor oil in gas and expect it to be fine. But I don't think this kid really ever got it going. If he did, it was extremely short and probably with that other piston in there. So just ground these down. I had to find the right screwdriver that would fit in there. If he went too big, it was catching on the cap. That was most of my problem. I was just slightly too big. Junk. Oh, missed the garbage. Missed the garbage again. Yeah, you see how nasty that rubber is? I figured that was going to be the case. But give it a nice little touch. Oop. Dripping some brake fluid on the ground. Here's that new seat cover for you guys so you can really see what's going to be going on. This one was ripped or else I wouldn't be changing it, but I want it to be in really great condition, everything. Got an engine seal kit. I showed most of this to you guys, but a top end kit, ignition cover, base gasket, or inner clutch cover gasket. I was going to just get a whole kit, but originally, I would have just gotten a whole kit, but originally I didn't think it needed a crank, so I was kind of trying to save a little bit of money. No big deal. Whoever does get this bike, I will have some extra jets as long as they're taken for my asking price. Anything less than asking, I'm not going to give you anything extra. This is for the forks. This is some of the other OEM parts I have, like the Tusk axle blocks. That's for the fork guard little wraparound guides for this kind of bike. That's a new front brake rubber, which I'll throw that on. I stole one off of a CRF that we had. That washer may have been the right one, but it was also a little bent. I like using a Phillips. Slide the pin out just a little bit. Usually a Phillips fits in the bottom of the foot peg pin pretty easily. Pop it out. And now I can kind of leave this here. Wipe this pin down. Again, this one's in good shape as well. Nothing real crazy. Just start the pin, take this guy, shove it in the frame, take the screwdriver, stick it in, try to line it up a little bit, slowly guide while keeping your finger underneath the foot peg here to hold the spring up, and at least on this particular model. You just slowly have to work and push the pin down. Eventually it just slides through like that. And then you're going to take your new washer and a cotter pin. Yeah, I can. Okay, so that's the size I'm going to use. Let's take the washer up on. Start working this pin in. You see here the piston 03 to 10. This is a 2002. It's not even the right shape. It's whatever. 020404. So I just gotta look it up on FMF and it'll tell me exactly what pipe that is. So I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna be doing with this hose yet. If I will route it in front. The only thing I worry about there is it catching over here on the back side because someone cut that part out. However, I have this guy, which in theory, if I did something like that, it probably would also be fine. It's really not that bad. I just need to put the new fork guards on with the clamp up there like I was explaining, and I think it will all end up routing pretty good. I just got this just in case. Decided that it's going to be easier using it. And that's mostly what's wrong with this bike. It just really bums me out that this kid screwed me over so bad, but well, I guess when you trade, you take a risk. Oh well. Sucks he got it. It sucks he screwed me over and it was my birthday, but what am I going to do? Cry about it? Hell no. We're just going to fix this thing, get it all nice. Get it all set up for whoever ends up buying it. Stay tuned. This is going to be part 1, showing you everything wrong with the bike. We're going to be disassembling this motor, new crank, connecting rod, main bearings, tons and tons and tons of other stuff. I'll probably show you the shock service, the fork service. Let me know if there's anything specific you guys want to see. But yeah, until then, thank you guys for watching so much. Hit that subscribe button. Shout out to Cameron Niemela. Rest easy, buddy. This one's for you. It's not going to be to the same quality that his builds are. His are just factory level, man. I mean, not going to be that crazy, but this bike is going to be sick. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. A little bit of bonus content to hype you guys up. I do have shorts out right now and videos of how to do the seat cover and of me blowing out this 2-stroke dent in here. This was real dented, if you guys remember. You see there's slight denting, and that's obviously where it got hit on a rock or whatever. You can't really get those scrapes out, but look at that. For how dented it was, it really is amazing. I mean, so that's cool. Check that video out if you want to see the how-to on that. MF is looking a lot better. You can see there's a dent there, but you can't really do anything about that, unfortunately. And I'm gonna get new stickers on that, but just a little bit of bonus content for you guys of what I did today. If you are interested, check out those 2 videos. Got some cool things planned for this. A lot of new ride videos today. As you can see, it's about 20, I think 7 degrees at most today. And I'm going to be riding my Stark Varg out there, but I'm going to ride the 4-wheeler first, break in some of the trails because it is a good 6 inches on the ground, pretty slippery. And I'll just clean it off so that the studs and stuff can dig into the ground.